Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a deeply dramatic chronological look at one of the most haunting, unforgettable disasters in aviation history, the Hindenburg tragedy.
I want you to literally picture this scene. You're standing in a massive crowd, looking up at the sky. Right above you is a gigantic flying machine. And when I say gigantic, I mean longer than 3 entire football fields put together. It's just floating there, silently gliding through the clouds. A true mind-bending marvel of its time.
Moving into Section 1, let's talk about the incredible aviation marvels of the 1930s.
Back then, these sky giants were way more than just transportation. They were the absolute pinnacle of human progress. The LZ-129 Hindenburg, built over in Germany, wasn't just big. It was the largest passenger airship ever built, period. It promised this entirely new era of global travel where people could cross the vast Atlantic Ocean in mere days. To the public eye, this futuristic machine was practically invincible.
But, as we'll see in Section 2, there was a stark contrast between extreme luxury and the deadly danger of hydrogen. And man, what a terrifying contrast it was. On the inside, pure, unmatched luxury. We're talking gorgeous dining rooms, plush lounges, actual sleeping cabins, and observation decks where you could just casually look down at the ocean. But right above all that comfort, the passengers were separated by literally just a thin, fragile layer from absolute catastrophe. Millions of cubic feet of highly flammable, volatile hydrogen gas. That was the only thing keeping this colossal structure in the air.
Which brings us to Section 3, those fateful, final landing moments.
Okay, let's set the scene. It's May 6th, 1937. The Hindenburg has just finished crossing the Atlantic from Europe and is arriving at Naval Air Station Lakehurst. At first, everything looked perfectly routine. Crowds are cheering, news reporters have their cameras rolling, totally ready to capture this majestic landing. The giant airship starts slowly descending toward the ground. Crew members are tossing down the landing ropes, and the passengers are just relaxing in those luxurious cabins, grabbing their coats. Nobody, and I mean nobody, had a clue what was coming next.
Now for Section 4, a horrific tragedy unfolding in less than a minute. In an absolute flash, this golden age of air travel turned into a literal nightmare. And the wildest part is just how incredibly fast it all happened. 1 second, it's a completely normal descent. The next, a tiny flame flickers near the tail end of the ship. Instantly, and I mean instantly, that highly volatile hydrogen gas ignites. The entire sky just explodes into a wall of fire that tears through the massive structure way faster than anyone could even process. The whole gigantic ship completely collapsed in under 60 seconds. Let that sink in. Less than 1 single minute. If you were on the ground, the sheer terror was unimaginable. There's this incredibly famous, deeply emotional audio recording of a radio announcer who was broadcasting live. You can hear his voice just completely break. He's crying out in pure panic as he watches this majestic machine burn alive right in front of him. And the scene itself, it was pure chaos. Desperate passengers literally jumping out of the high windows to escape the intense heat, while others were tragically trapped as the flaming skeleton of the ship crashed down around them.
Moving on to Section 5, let's look at the technical analysis of this catastrophic structural failure.
So the fire finally dies down, right? And investigators are immediately sifting through the twisted, smoking metal trying to answer one massive question. What exactly sparked that initial flame? Now, even after decades of intense debate, the absolute root cause is still a bit of a mystery. But technical analysis heavily leans towards static electricity. The idea is that an electrostatic discharge ignited a small, unnoticed hydrogen leak. Combine that with the highly flammable materials painted on the outside of the airship, and you have a recipe for disaster. Of course, there are also lingering theories ranging from completely unknown mechanical failures to even deliberate sabotage.
Which leads us to our final section, the definitive end of the airship era.
The fallout from those 60 seconds of fire literally changed the course of human history. Because this disaster was captured live on film and splashed across newspapers worldwide, public trust completely evaporated overnight. Nobody wanted to fly in a giant hydrogen balloon anymore. These incredible luxury airships went from being the glorious future of travel to the ultimate symbol of extreme, terrifying danger.
And because of that, the entire industry aggressively shifted gears, pivoting directly into the modern airplane age. Airplanes quickly and safely took over as the trusted future of global travel. And that leaves us with a really fascinating, somewhat haunting historical perspective. Knowing just how incredibly fast the Hindenburg shattered society's absolute, unquestioning faith in the 1930s, we have to ask ourselves a tough question today. How much blind faith do we place in our own cutting-edge technology? Seriously, what futuristic innovations do we completely trust right now without a second thought that could change our world in just a single disastrous minute? Some to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.